Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Stock Market Show. This is your host, Shades. As always, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Let's talk about BBAI. BBAI did pull back in the downtrend as we expected, right? This is normal. In an uptrend, we expect red candles. We expect pullbacks, and that gives us the dip buying opportunity. On the opposite side of that, we would see pullbacks, green candles in a downtrend. We're getting that. Probably the most bullish thing that could happen is that this closes on a very big green candle like this one right here, because that would give us continuation to back to $8 at that point. That would be bullish, and I would have nothing more to say than wow, that's incredible, and okay, I'm here for it at that point. I'm not going to chase. I'll buy something else. There's plenty of opportunities right now with all these dips that we got, but buyers are showing up, and sellers have no ammunition. That's what we're seeing right now in the markets. But with regards to BBAI, again, you got to respect the previous pattern that it's shown us. It finds a top and it inevitably just goes down lower. Finds a top, goes down lower. Where's the next one? Finds a top. Look at that. We got some green candles in the downtrend, some pullback, and we go lower. Even here, it spiked from 2.6 to 3.7, and it moved a whole dollar, and it just went down even lower anyways. I get that people are bullish on it, calling it the next Palantir, but you still have to respect the patterns that exist. Until it breaks that pattern, we have to assume it's just going to go down lower, right? That just makes sense. We're all very good. We're human. We're very smart. We're very good at recognizing patterns. We see patterns and we respect them, but also abuse them, right? If the pattern for BBAI was it just keeps going up higher and higher and never comes back down, then it would look like Palantir at that point, right? You're describing Palantir at that point. Look at that. It just keeps going higher, 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 higher. And that's why Palantir is Palantir and not BBAI. BBAI has a different pattern. You zoom out on the monthly, and the pattern is it has a lot of spikes, and then it inevitably comes down. Now, again, I am thinking maybe this is a cup, and then we're going to form a handle here and consolidate around 6 and 7, then eventually break out higher. That is absolutely possible. I mean, right now, the 50, is that the 50 or the 200? That's the 200. That is very interesting. The 200 EMA is acting as resistance right now. That's what pushed us down back here. That's what pushed us down here. And surprise, surprise, it's pushing us down right now. That's interesting. The 200 EMA on the monthly is acting as resistance. Huh. Let's go to the weekly time frame, see if we can get any. Yeah, we're still extended above the Bollinger Bands. Let's go to the monthly again. Let me just look at the Bollinger Bands. Yeah, we're way extended. Quarterly, yearly. Whoa, 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 whoa. The yearly time frame, that's the most powerful time frame. So for those of you who don't know about the yearly time frame, because I know a lot of you don't look at it, the yearly time frame gives the most powerful signals. Let me just show you something. Palantir stock, when it got that crossover on the yearly time frame, look what happened. Again, this is a yearly time frame. So this is a whole green candle. For a whole year, it just green. So it went from 16 to 77. Then the next year, 76 to 150. So that's the power of the yearly time frame. It can show you, I don't know if you guys know the theory of higher time frames take control of the lower time frames, not the other way around. So if the higher time frame is telling you, hey, we're going to go higher, this is very bullish, even if on the smaller time frames it looks bearish, that's, those daily candles are technically, they're meaningless because it's such a small time frame relative to the yearly. So you see the crossover, you see the white line crossing the yellow line, you see this skyrocketing price action. So maybe, just maybe BBAI is the next Palantir. Because BBAI, the golden cross, maybe, look at that. We might get a golden cross as well. Let me look at Palantir real quick. Yeah, Palantir got its golden cross here, not this year, in 2024. And that was followed by a huge surge. So, I know those signals, by the way, are rare. You got to really think about what I'm saying right now. Those signals are rare because it's an yearly time frame. Like, it literally takes years for us to get those kinds of signals. So if you're getting these signals on a yearly time frame, it means we're going to have some big upside. So I'm going to buy in, but I'm going to wait to see if we go lower. This is good. I like this. I've seen this before. That's why I'm suddenly bullish. Again, that's if you believe that the higher time frame takes control of the smaller time frames. And the smaller, I know it sounds crazy to call the daily and the weekly smaller time frames, but they are technically much smaller compared to the yearly. Because if you saw that signal, that golden cross on Palantir last year, you could have just bought in and you'd be up, 100% or more, even though you were, buying at like 75. I know a lot of you don't look at the yearly time frame, so a lot of this might be like, huh? Like what? We've had 3 green years in a row. We're trending. That's what's giving us this signal. I mean, what's the RSI on the yearly? It doesn't even matter. Still has plenty of upside. Let me look at the quarterly. Again, the quarterly shows a cup here. It would actually be normal for this to create a handle, then we break out higher. And man, if we can break above 10 and hold above it, sky's the limit. We can go to 16 and then maybe even higher. So if we're just looking solely and just solely paying attention to the yearly and assuming, and you believe in the theory that the yearly time frame takes control of the lower time frames, then again, we would expect this to go higher at some point. But we're going to use the daily to get our buy as cheap as possible, right? That doesn't mean we're going to suddenly buy up here, right? That doesn't make sense because it's a whole year. In that whole year, we can still go down here and then finally go back to 10 and beyond. Palantir is a perfect example of that. Let me look at Palantir real quick. So Palantir, where's the quarterly? We're comparing them because a lot of people compare them, right? You know what's funny? Palantir here, look at that. It's got that pattern, right? It almost looks like, let's look at BBAI and compare it. Let's overlay BBAI. Why is it showing me a line? I'm losing my voice from excitement. Okay, yeah, Palantir, look at that. It almost looks similar, right? When you make the comparison. The blue candles that's BBAI. The quarterly, look at that. Maybe that's what we're starting to see here, especially when we consider the fact that we got that yearly crossover. Again, if you believe that higher time frames offer more powerful signals, more reliable signals, they take control of the smaller time frames, then you would assume that at some point in the future, we're going to skyrocket. Again, it's the yearly time frame. It's going to take years to play out. So it's more of at this point, if you're an investor, you should be excited about these signals, especially that golden cross. A golden cross means we're going to skyrocket on the daily. That's what that means. You can look at that on the MP materials here. On the daily, we got where is it? Where's that golden cross? The golden cross happened here, white line crossing the yellow line. And since then, if you bought, when you got that signal at 18, it went to 60. So you make quite a bit of money. But getting that signal on the yearly would assume we're just going to have years of green, especially in Trump's bull market and with the AI announcement that's coming as well. And it gets contracts with the Department of Defense. I think it's time to buy. I'm sorry, guys. I take back everything I said in the first 4 minutes of this video. I should have looked at the higher time frames. That is a very powerful signal. Again, let me know what you think. Those of you who are more technical traders, what do you think? Do you look at that yearly time frame? What do you think of this quarterly, this yearly? Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Do you believe that these crossovers, this golden cross on the yearly means we're gonna skyrocket like Palantir? It does. It looks similar. It looks like an early BBAI right now looks like an early Palantir in terms of price action. So let me know what you think. I don't know. Look, I'm just some crazy guy looking at literally green and red candles and going, oh, it looks like it. On the technicals, it looks like it is the next Palantir. We'll see. I'm excited. Let's see if it comes down a little lower. Again, this is the yearly time frame. It's going to take a couple years. So if you're willing to invest in this and hold for a couple years, you might make a lot of money if those signals actually play out. Again, it depends on what your school of thought is, because I know there's some technical traders that are like, the yearly time frame doesn't mean anything. Too high of a time frame, right? And some people are the opposite. They think the yearly time frame takes control of the smaller time frames. And some people think that, you know, trading the smaller time frames is too noisy, so they trade the higher time frames. So it really depends on your school of thought.